I think it's really, 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 really important to take a review of how we're doing. How do I mean by this? So I have a goal setting workshop, and in that workshop, one of the things that I talk a lot about is, in fact, it's the first exercise in that goal. So there are 6 stages of the goal setting workshop. The first stage, the first step in that goal setting workshop is accountability. And essentially, what it is that you spend the first 25 minutes to 35 minutes talking about what you've learned, how you're doing, where you're at, how is your health. Rate your health out of 10. If 10 was like an Olympian and 1 is like somebody who is obese, who is going to need to be in a hospital and get surgery, whereabouts are you? If your capacity, if based on how you think your health could be, if we could rate your health 1 to 10, whereabouts is it? Because the reason why I say this to you is because this is what I've discovered. I've discovered that everybody wants to be an anomaly, everybody wants the exception, everybody wants to have things that are 7, 8, 9 out of 10, but most people do not qualify. They themselves are not 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Does that make sense what I mean? So there's a lot of guys who think that they're 6s and 7s out of 10, therefore they want women who are 7, 8, 9s, and 10, but actually, if you look at how they're actually rated, they're more like 3s and 4s out of 10. And let me tell you why I say this to you. So I was listening to a video of a woman who was on YouTube who was explaining about how a woman can grab herself and bag herself a high value man. High value man meaning like a footballer, a guy who's earning 10K a month or more, but basically a high flyer. You guys know what a high value man. So somebody who's very well off, very influential, has a business, is a CEO, a partner, is doing really, really, really well financially. Okay? And this woman was explaining how a woman can grab one of these men, and she was explaining, for example, if you, one of the things she said is, if you want to know that you qualify for such a man, look at who approaches you on a daily basis. She said, if in your day-to-day life, very few men who are millionaires, who are high-value men approach you, then you are not as hot as what you think you are. And she said, if you want to see how hot you are, this is how clever this woman was. She's very clever. She said, most football teams and basketball teams, if they've got a big game, they arrive about 2 days before the big game and they book into a hotel. Okay, she said you can find out where they're staying. It's always usually over the news. It's usually over their social media, or the company's social media. You can tell where the footballers are going to stay. Okay, if they've got a big game. She said arrive on 2 days before they have their big game, and go into what did she say? Book a room in that hotel, and when you know that they're supposed to be coming downstairs or supposed to be having dinner or whatever, go to the reception area. Go and have a meal. Obviously, be dressed well, be looking your sharpest, and then go to the bar and sit there and watch if any of these men approach you. Because I'm telling you now, a bunch of guys who are footballers or basketball players, if they go to have their meal and they walk past the bar and they see a girl who's an 8 or 9 out of 10, or 10 out of 10, I'm telling you right now, they're all going to be speaking to each other about it. They might be asking the concierge to find out if the girl's staying in the room. Where is she staying? Can she come? They're going to be saying to the concierge, can you ask the girl to come up to our room? Can you ask her to call us, to text us? What's her number? How old is she? The guys will do that, right? So she said, you will be able to determine for yourself whether you even qualify for such men. Because you may think that you're an 8, 9, or 10, but in reality, you do not qualify for any of these men. You're actually a 4 out of 10. You're actually a 5 out of 10. So you don't qualify. Let me explain something to you. The reason why I say this to you is there's going to be a lot of you guys who are really frustrated with the world. You want more income. You want more money. You want more women. you want a fitter woman, you want to be able to travel, you want more freedom. The issue is you're not even average, you're less than average. If you look around you, for example, I was looking at my credit score. So if you go on the on Credit Expert, no, basically any of the credit agencies in the UK, you can tell what your credit rating is, and then they will tell you what the average is in your town. And here's the thing, as I started to look at my credit rating, I realized, holy crap, my rating is not as good as I thought, because the majority of the people in this town have like 80 points more than me, which means I'm not even average. Because if I was average, I would be above that credit rating. Do you understand what I'm saying to you when I say this? And so a lot of you guys are going to be listening to me and you're going to be like, oh, Cass, I'm doing really well. I'm good looking. I'm a good guy. Are you? Because if you were really as a good guy as what you say, your life would be, there would be loads of people who are talking about how much of a good guy you are, what you've done for people, the charities, how you've helped this person out, how you've backed this person, right? There would be review after review in your life of people who are telling everybody about you. Listen what I'm saying. If you've got a product or you've got a business which is really, really good, it may be like a friend of mine who's got a mobile car cleaning, valeting company. So he goes basically around to people's homes and cleans their cars for them. And I was saying to him, well, if you think that you're so good, you should have thousands of reviews. Loads of people should be reviewing you, shouting how amazing that you are. If you really are not that good, people aren't going to be shouting and raving about you. You may think you're doing a good job, but if people have an exceptional experience or service, they love talking about it. People love talking about when they have really shit experiences, or their expectations are not met, or when things go amazing for them, right? They want to recommend that everybody has the same experience. And so my question to you is, and it's really the emphasis of what I've been thinking about, is how are you actually doing? Like, rate your life. You say you've got money. Okay, well, out of 10, based on what you could achieve and what you're achieving now, whereabouts are you on that? Okay, you say that you're that in the dating market you are above average. Okay, well, all right then. Well, let's see, number one, how the dating market determines men. So looks, out of 10, we're talking about David, I don't know, Eldris Ilba being 10 and somebody being 0, somebody like from that guy from Elf, the film Elf, being 0. Whereabouts do you think that you rate out of that? Right? You talk about your physical health. In the dating market, a woman, if there was two identical guys and one of them had muscles and was fit and the other one was obese or overweight, she was almost always going to go for the one who's fit. So let's look at your physical health and your physical fitness. Are you saying that you're an 8 or 9 out of 10 in that? Because if you're not, what does that mean? What I'm trying to say to you is, if we start taking all of these different areas of your life, which basically encompass how valuable you are, not only to yourself, but to the wider world around you, how important you are to your family, your community, your workplace, to your spouse. If we take all of these and we average the number out of 100, are we going to get like 80 and above? Or are we going to start getting really like 43, 44? And here's where it gets even more interesting. If other people rate you and they give your rating out of 100 in all of the different areas based on what they've seen about you, what would they rate you? Do you see what I'm saying, how deep this is getting? And what I'm trying to say to you is, a lot of us have never actually thought about this stuff. We've never stopped. We've never examined ourselves. We've never actually rated ourselves. And when you start doing this stuff, you're like, damn, I am way behind as to where I should be. I thought by now I would be, there's a lot of you going to be listening to me, and by now you thought you would be married and you would have kids and you would have a 3-4 bedroom house. You are nowhere near that. And the question is, why? Because there's loads of people who are the same age as you who do have all of that. So why do you not have it? Now, this is where the separation in life happens, because there are going to be some people who are going to hear me say that, and they're going to say, well, Kasim, fuck the world, fuck people, fuck society, I don't care, the world is unjust, women are shit, whatever. Is that productive? Does that help you become a winner? And this obviously now comes down to a sense of maturity, because and a growth mindset and your mentality, like all of these things that you really encompass you. Because there's a lot of people who think, oh, Kasim, I have a great attitude, but the moment somebody betrays them, the moment things do not go their way, all of a sudden this great attitude that they've been talking about goes out of the window. So where is it? Right? There's a lot of women who think that they're great mothers, but the moment their partner cheats on them, all of a sudden, or they thought that they were great. If you're a great mother, irrelevant of whether your husband has cheated or not, you would still prioritize giving access to the father of your children, access to your children, right? Because what does that mean? That means that just because a man has a bad relationship with you, it doesn't make him a bad father. There's a lot of women who, when they split up with a man, they use a child to basically get revenge. And they talking about how they're great mothers, they're great people. And actually, when you begin to really look at the data, you begin to really look at the fact sheets, it's like, whoa, this woman is not who she says she was. And I guess for you, really think about this in your own life. How are you rating? How are you actually doing, really? Not based on this hypothetical world that you're living in, but that's why I gave this as the first exercise in my workshop, because there's a lot of people when we do goal setting workshops who are living in delusion, in denial. They're like, oh, Kasim, I'm not doing very bad financially. Hold on a minute. You've just said you're in your overdraft. You said you still have student debt. You said at the moment you don't even earn the average of somebody who is the same age as you in the UK. Meaning, if you are somebody who is in their 30s, the average income of somebody in their 30s is somewhere around £28,000 to about £32,000. Meaning, if you don't even earn that in your 30s, that means you're not even average, you're below average. Right? And we're just talking about money because all of us can relate to money and we understand it and we can talk about it. But do you understand what I'm saying when I start saying this stuff? And this is what I've been thinking about, and I've been really thinking about it for me, and I've been really thinking about examining myself and where am I, how am I doing, like really looking at Cass